Well, the Jets did win their finale, but make no mistake about it, their season skid off the runway early on and never really got off the ground. Now, throughout what has been a disappointing, difficult 5-11 year, Brandon Marshall has always stood up and answered the tough questions, and he's going to do that again today with us. And, Brandon, I know from a personal standpoint, lowest number of receptions in your career since rookie season, but only fair to give you an open-ended question. Put the season in perspective from yours and your team's standpoint.
First of all, is this 60 minutes?
Yeah, it might be.
It might be.
Minutes go with this.
Yes. You got serious? Yeah. I feel like this conversation should be had on the couch.
All these questions I got written down here. Look at this. I got questions. I got a million questions for you.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, the best way I can describe it is having a diaper on and never changing it. And just sitting in that diaper the whole year. That's how our year was.
Wow.
It was a bad year.
That's a really graphic description right there.
I mean, what else you want me to say?
Let me ask you,
type of year.
my first question is when did you really deep in your heart know that, we're in a situation now that we can't overcome?
Well, when I first kind of had a feeling of shock was after the Kansas City game. You know, I think we all came into this season with high expectations. We understood the challenges that we were going to face with the tough schedule, the toughest schedule, you know, in all of football probably. But we thought that we would have a top 5 defense. We thought that our offense would be better because it's our second year around. We had amazing chemistry the year before, broke a lot of records, did some amazing things. So I felt like that was the game where we were like, wow. You know, maybe we aren't as good as we thought we were. And then, of course, there was things that came out as far as our locker room and, you know, chatter here, chatter there. And what I try to tell people all the time, because I'm a master of this, my entire career I've been in dysfunction. My entire career I've been in unhealthy locker rooms, right? And that's because you lose. We have a saying in the NFL that winning cures all.
Sure.
Yes. When you win, everything's good. You look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady throws his helmet, curses out, you know, Julian Edelman a couple weeks ago, and that's great. He's a great leader, but because they're winning. But if you do that in a losing locker room or the losing sideline, it's a problem. And what people got to understand is the locker room in a losing atmosphere is one of the most disgusting, volatile environments that you can be in.
Brandon, that was week 3 against Kansas City when you guys scored 3 points. I want you to comment on it, but Boomer's being patient here. Boomer, by the way, as we all know,
he's ready to take off.
Well, he's a co-host of the #1 sports talk show here in New York City. It's very close to the Jets situation, so we want him in there. But you knew that early in the season, week 3, that it was going to go off the rail?
No, not off the rail, that we weren't as good as I thought we were. We should have won that game. You know, there was no reason for us to go in there and play the way we did. Like I said, we had high expectations going into the game. You know, we got Fitz back, our guy. He had an amazing year last year. We had myself and Decker who were playing at a high level. We add Matt Forte to the whole plan, and Bilal Powell. We thought that we were going to have an amazing year, and it just didn't happen that way.
You know, 2 years ago when you came here to New York, I warned you. I warned you that this thing could turn ugly in a heartbeat because it happened to me. So I've walked a mile in your shoes. I know exactly what you're dealing with. Here's a couple questions that I have for you. You know, the second to last game of the season, you guys were in New England. You came out after the game and you said, we should be embarrassed.
Yep.
Immediately, the media goes running to Sheldon Richardson, and he said he should be embarrassed. He knows what he did.
Yeah.
What exactly what he's talking about there?
Well, first of all, you're right. And one of the things that I've learned about playing in New York and why it's so hard, you talk about this beast of a media, it's when you're losing. When you're winning, it's great. They make you into Hall of Fame players. They give you nicknames that go viral and go globally. But when you lose, it's the same thing. We stopped talking about football week 3 after week 3. There was no longer, Brandon, what do you think about this matchup? Brandon, what's going on with your team? I mean, what's your game plan? It's all about, is your coach going to make it? Week 3, we were answering questions about if Coach Bowles were going to get fired. We were no longer talking about football. And that's the toughest thing for coaches and players in this environment is when you're losing, the media is tough. But that comes with the business.
Let me ask you so you see that coming in week 3. The players and the coach have to stop it. It can't be tolerated. You know, why were all these comments going out in the paper? You know, and when you're a team and you run right, and you know that, it's not always, I know we say winning cures all and all that, but when you're losing, somebody has to have control of the ship where it doesn't get to this situation.
Correct. But
players or coaches.
But to answer your point, what happened, I can't tell you that. This is our locker room, and you're one of those guys that taught me this. In Chicago, I made that mistake. I felt like talking in the media would cure some things, will expose some things so we can fix it. They ran me out of town.